Hi, Tamsin.
Hi,
Nice to meet you.
Marissa. Very nice to meet you too.
How are you?
I'm very well, considering. How are you? Where are you coming from? Where are you calling in from?
Um, Now I'm in Berlin, but I'm from Peru, from Lima.
Wonderful.
Um, so I'm a designer behind the label Maqu, and I grew up in Peru, and then I moved to Europe. Uh, the first stop was Copenhagen, and then Berlin. And here in Berlin, I found my place to develop my project. Maqu is a sustainable brand for women's wear, and I keep my focus on classical, practical shapes using organic fabrics and dead stock. I work also with alpaca wool from Peru. I love to think that I can help people there, and also Peru is a country with a lot of resources, very interesting, and I want to help in some point since my base here in Berlin. And I think here, for example, I wanted to share with you. Um, Berlin is, I think it's an interesting place because I apply in green living here. And for example, next year, there is a new law talking about transparency. It's a new law for the supply chain. So at next year, the companies that they send products to here, goods to Germany, they have to prove all the steps on the supply chain. That there is no there is no slavery, that the fair conditions are, all the ecological standards are met. So this is something that I really appreciate to be here in Germany. And I think it's a little bit too late, but I think it's a step forward. And yes, so I'm building this bridge between Peru and Germany. So what I'm
Nice.
doing, no? Yes, and I found, for example, a common objective. If the viewers already watched before your conversation, um, you are the founder of Co, and I found very interesting platform. And that is what you are doing, connecting people, connecting suppliers with brands, and to think sustainably. Um, for me, now with my collection and all the processes, I have some questions to you, like because what I'm doing is I'm focused on social projects and ecological standards and economic sustainability. And what do you think, if what I should put more my focus? You know, I mean. For a small brand like me.
Sure thing. So yeah, wonderful to see your collection behind you. And also I had a look on your site. It's quite outstanding. I think, as I mentioned in my email, it's basics with a real edge. So definitely a market for that. So I thank you for questions, and I'll answer some of those. Just for those of you who didn't see me the first time round, I might give you a 1-minute introduction to who I am. I'm Tamsin Lelejeune and founded the Ethical Fashion Forum back in 2006. And then we launched Common Objective, which is an online platform, a bit like a cross between LinkedIn and Alibaba, but it looks better. And we're a bit like a LinkedIn for sustainable fashion, I suppose. So anyone can join for free. You can set up a business profile. You can get matched with information. We have over 300 resources and tools and training on there. It's all free and available to all currently during COVID. And then the more sustainable businesses get a higher search ranking on the site. So the intention is to turn sustainability from a cost to an opportunity, and to really create benefits, create a race to the top, I suppose, both for suppliers and brands like yours. So to answer your questions, yeah, your first one was to do with focus, with what your focus should be, and advice on that. I mean, my first point on that would be start with one thing at a time. So I've worked with hundreds of incredible entrepreneurs and businesses, and the ones that I've seen that have succeeded have resisted trying to do it all. It's so easy, so difficult not to want to do it all when you start out, especially as being a creative person. You probably enjoy the new and the ideas. But
yes.
We found that those businesses that have done well have really nailed their commercial opportunities. So getting the product right. So if you have a sustainability focus, it can be tempting to spend quite a lot of time on how you're going to solve those problems and bring creativity to solving those sustainability problems and building your supply chain. And the product side can get a little neglected. The commonalities I've seen with products that really work, the most successful brands, are that they've had a signature product and a small number of variations on that to make it commercially viable. So examples might be Veja shoe brands. Allbirds have done the same with shoes. They've created one thing that works really well. And then Reformation is similar, really clear USP and signature to the business. And then replicating that to an extent. Getting experts on your boards would be my other recommendation. I think this comes into your later question on networking. How do you build great connections? I founded a fashion brand back in 2002, fair trade sourcing from Bangladesh. And a wonderful piece of advice I had was to go and visit buyers on a Tuesday morning in boutiques when they're often there and willing to feed back on products. So I suppose don't assume that you can do it all yourself. I think that's partly about confidence, just having confidence that what you're doing is really amazing and other people are going to want to help you, even if you don't have money to pay them. And a board is a good way to help make that happen.
Because I have ideas, for example, when I was a student, one of my dreams, and it's my dream, is to support education in Peru. I have a big dream to build a school there. So I started last year with a project. I made sweaters, 100% handmade with natural dyes, and the idea is to donate part of this project to the school, because I think education is very important, and coming from a development country, I think if I can help, I'm super happy to give something back, And so yeah, I have so many ideas like these social projects. Then since 2016, we work only with organic certified cotton. Now we are applying other fabrics as stencils. We make a collaboration now with a cooperative in Peru. It's an association in Lima where they work with indigenous in the Amazons. They extract a new material called chiringa from the tree, a rubber, natural rubber. And so I have these small projects coming up. And and sometimes I say, hey, maybe I have to put my focus only first to develop in one point, And at a small label, I have a challenge because, for example, I don't make whole. I just only have my store in Berlin, and now during this pandemic, I had to rethink my business or to implement a new system. And online shopping is not so sustainable, but we improve. We are making we have our recycled papers, cartons, and we communicate with the consumers. And I think it's very important to communicate before, to have to communicate with our community. And maybe you have like a suggestion for me, how you can suggest to me as in my online shopping, like to make it more sustainably, or if there's new ways or to communicate that.
Are you talking about your shop where you sell products, or are you talking about?
Oh, yes, I have my store in Berlin, but during the pandemic, we have to improve and just go more online, because now the physical contact, it's not like before, and it's not going to be like normal. No, we are living in a new way. We have to find solutions, and now it's kind of one of my thoughts for how I can make it, how to connect with the consumers, or how to communicate talking about online shopping. No,
Yeah,
that is something that.
I mean, I think that the great opportunity with fashion brands is that you have quite a big reach, and as you grow more so, it's very visual. We're surrounded by marketing from fashion brands, and if that, I'm not hearing you. I think you're speaking, so I think you might have been muted.
No, I think there is something 2 seconds delay, or yes, I am.
Yeah. So I think the communication is key, and you can actually change behavior by the way you communicate what you do. I mean, some of the brands we're working with are encouraging their consumers to treasure products, and by way of being a smaller independent label, you're in essence doing that to an extent already. You're offering a product which costs a bit more and which people are going to buy less of and hopefully keep longer.
Yes, there is a story behind. No, every piece what we do has a story, and that is how we communicate on the website. And I remembered that the word that you told me was like minimal with an edge, and I really like the description that you gave me. I will use it. And yes, I think so many things that we have to communicate more. And yes, I see now during this time, for example, I read up in Co about you recommend like to write a pledge for biodiversity.
That's right. Yeah.
And I was thinking, I don't know if maybe I should, like a small label is necessary I will learn a lot more, because nature is very important. And this year it gave me the time to think, yeah, we are taking our resources from nature and we have to actually give back, no? So how do you recommend me maybe just to write a pledge, to sign up and just make a strategy for biodiversity?
Yeah, sure. I'm just sharing my screen. Can you see that now? So that you can see, because we do have a mechanism on Co which allows you to very simply create a pledge. Now I think you have a business profile on Co. I'm just showing you this as Indigenous profile, which is quite a successful sustainable fashion brand in the US. And if I scroll down, so anybody can create a business profile for free and represent what they're doing. And so I can connect with the founders of Indigenous, a bit like LinkedIn on here. They've got information. They've won an award, and here you can see sustainability objectives. It'll only take you 10 minutes. You can very simply write down your certifications, your objectives there as one way of communicating it. And you can also upload policies. And yes, we do have the biodiversity hub. So I'll just navigate to that. So the pledge is very simple. We've started super simple. It'll take you literally 2 minutes to sign the pledge. For us, we see it as a first step. So biodiversity, I think, is particularly important at the moment, especially with COVID. If you look at the origins of this crisis, you know, a lot of them come from the fact that we have that biodiversity is compromised. So you can sign the biodiversity pledge on here. And by signing it, you'll then be included in a Slack group. So you can see there's not much to this. It'll literally take you 5 minutes. It's more about a first step. But once you join that, you'll be part of a Slack group. And we're working in partnership with Biodiversify, who are an amazing organization, to create a template to help you. So I think I mentioned that on Co. So I'm just going to show you some of the brands. On Co, when you create a business profile, the more sustainable you are, the higher your search ranking. My internet's a bit slow, so it's not showing these so quickly. But here you can see some of the businesses that are in the top range of our ranking, because they've won awards. We're launching the awards again. But you can also, if you create a profile, you can upload your strategy. And in the Learn section, all of this is freely available currently. If I navigate to 3D business, by 3D, we mean business in 3D, that is nailing your finances and your social and your environmental impact. And in here, we have a sustainability roadmap. I don't know, have you had a look at this or completed it? It's a template.
Not completely, but I was yes, I'm a member. One of my goals is done later to be pro.
Well, you don't need to be pro to access this currently, because we've made it all free during COVID. Yes. But it just gives you a little template so that you can then create your objectives and your impacts and share. You can then upload this to your profile, and that gives you a higher search ranking. I think I went through this on the earlier call, so in case there are people listening in again, I won't go through it again, but you get the gist.
Yes, of course. I was thinking about also about networking, no? So the platform, yes. For example, I heard the other day the podcast with Claire Press.
Right.
And I was hearing that. So my question actually was how you motivated to create common objective, because when I heard the podcast, I know that you grew up in Africa, and later you went to Honduras, I think. So I'm curious only to know how came this idea to create Co.
Yeah, I mean, I suppose my upbringing and background made me see how blinkered we are living in the West to the way the rest of the world lives, and also made me cognizant of the opportunity through better business, to really change things in a meaningful way and to change them in an individual way. But sometimes it can be quite disempowering. Political change happens very slowly. Regulatory change happens very slowly. But as an entrepreneur, you can make change meaningfully, quickly for people you're working with in your supply chains. So that became clear to me through my background. And then I started a fair trade fashion brand, so producing in Bangladesh initially, and I found it very difficult to find suppliers. I was committed to sourcing fair trade suppliers so that I could improve livelihoods for them and find a way through the business of fashion of really making a difference. And so that while I was doing that, I connected with others, and we formed the Ethical Fashion Forum. I actually trailed around the in Pure. I met Ursula at Pure, Ursula, who's now the founder of Fashion Revolution. And
hi, sorry, we lost connection.
Oh no!
I think it was my internet. Yes. Yeah. I missed the last.
Was really about networking, wasn't it? And
yes.
How to build your network.
Yes. Exactly. That's something that I wanted to know, because and then comes to communicate, transparency. Yeah, it's everything connected. And actually, it's one part of my collection because I took elements with a new collection called Lifelines. I took elements from my homeland and bring now with all my experience in the last years. So I think the past, I looked into the past to make better in the future. And everything what we do, it's connected. It's like with the trees, no? They communicate under the under the ground, so they all connected. So I think it's wonderful. Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, a couple of tips on networking and building your network. I mean, firstly, I'd recommend you have a voluntary board, and get yourself some advocates, people who are networked, who love what you're doing, who can help give advice and also open doors for you. And then the other thing is to be a connector yourself. So I guess, you know, if you just think about how you can help approach people with the perspective of how you can help them rather than how they can help you. Exactly. And just reach out to them with the opportunities, offer to connect, offer to help, and you'll find that the favors are returned 100-fold.
Thank you. I think we have some questions.
Yes, I'll need you to read those out, as I don't think I have access to that.
Which is your favorite fabric to work with? I think it's to me.
That's you.
Yeah, since the beginning, I was working with organic cotton. So I love to work also with alpaca wool. I'm now experimenting more with yarns, with cotton yarns and alpaca wool, but I think I feel more comfortable with organic cotton, with jerseys, and to play with all how to make a new way for me to work with organic and with jerseys. Not to my clothes are very minimal, but maybe with a twist. Just let's change always something. In every collection, I try to do my best. But yeah, I think I like work with jerseys, with cotton. Yes. But yeah, I wanted to invite you to see my fashion show, my digital fashion show next week on 29th of July, 3 p.m., 3:15. Central European time. And yes, I would love to meet you soon, personally, if it's possible. I hope.
we forget how privileged we were. It seems like such a luxury to meet people in person.
Yes. We have another question before. How can a small sustainable brands gain more visibility, Tamsin?
Yes, good question. I'm just turning off this notification, which keeps pinging. Give me a sec. So how can a small brand gain visibility? Yes. Yeah, great question. So, I mean, we've seen everything. We've seen some fantastic ways that brands have leveraged on their marketing. One of the best, I think, was a brand called Pants to Poverty, which was an underwear brand. And they did amazing things, got a lot of notoriety for, they did big events and Guinness World Book of Records. So they had things like the largest number of people who can fit into one pair of pants. And that gave them a huge amount of press coverage. So I guess be playful. With the ways that you use marketing, and again, align it with your business, the ways that you can draw in the elements that you love about your business. I think that the story is resonating now with press, the stories behind, and especially with COVID-19. If you can link what you're doing with, I mean, and you know, still we're at the heart of a pandemic, and the news which is getting by far the most attention is COVID-19 related. we've started doing a series on Co about businesses that are turning challenges into opportunities, which are emerging from COVID cleverly. And so if you can build your press release related to that, and on Co, if you are a brand or a supplier doing great things, get in touch with me on Co. We'd love to put you out there.
Yes. Thank you. So yes, I don't know if we have another question. I think we are just on time, and I appreciate your time to talk with you today. And yes, I will contact you, and
I very much look forward to that. I don't know if our session's over, but if it's not, I'd love to hear what your plans are next. We haven't heard from our hosts yet.
I would love to still working on my project and my dream, to support people, to build my, if I can build my school.
Yeah, I mean, that amazing.
And to people in Peru during this time, it's very hard there. I'm lucky that actually I'm here, and yes, experiment and focus on my brand, and maybe, who knows, if I can to open another store.
How can we best help you with Co to achieve your goals?
I think, yeah, connect with suppliers that they want to make a collaboration with me with new innovative material.
You're looking for suppliers, yeah.
I would love to experiment, to know more about new materials, and yes, collaboration is very important. I think it's the base of the society.
And on the sales side, on the sales side and on the brand side, is there anything that we can help you? Are you selling wholesale at the moment?
No, actually not. No. We were concentrated in the store and to have this personal contact, because my customers want to know the story and how all my journey through Peru, Copenhagen, Berlin, and the material and everything. So I'm here always, so I can explain from where come my materials. Or I know the people's long time ago. We are family, so we are very transparent and honest with ourselves. And yes, I think, of course, I didn't invest too much in marketing. As a small label, it's always a huge theme. But yeah, I would love to that reach more people, that they can just help and to help others, not only me.
Something we've seen that's worked quite well with other brands, especially now, is that because people are looking for things to engage with online. I mean, we had double the number attending our recent online masterclass than we did pre-COVID. So I don't know if you've thought of doing online webinars. Have you come across the Business Loan Design Club?
No.
Look them up. They're a sustainable fashion multi-brand retailer, wonderful for any viewers who are interested in finding fantastic brands. And I think you should be in there. They always have something new, but they also have a really good marketing program. So they're doing a whole series of webinars which draw people to their site and which engage and build the community. So it's worth having a look. Might be something you can draw from.
Thank you. And
thank you.
Yes, thank you to the viewers, and I hope they can still follow in our stories.
Yeah, hope to keep you connected with the on-co, commonobjective.co.
Yes. Bye, Tamsin.